Welcome to Insights with Ovationz. What we do on this is we like to showcase the talent that we have on our platform, not just on a professional level, but on a personal level. I actually have had the chance to see Marques Ogden, one of our talent, actually speak in person. And just a little bit on Marques. He is a former NFL athlete, keynote speaker, business coach, and consultant. He's worked with over 100 Fortune 500 companies in the past 6 years. He was voted number 4 for top business speakers in North America. And the company he shares in that top 10 are people like Michael Jordan and Robert Kiyosaki and Tony Robbins. I mean, that to me, that's amazing as I was looking into you. Also, you speak at universities, nonprofits. You are a 3-time best-selling author, and let's not forget that your podcast is like in the top 5% in the world. Like, from what I'm seeing, there's just this theme of success. Yet I know that's not necessarily how it's always been. I know for me personally, everybody I speak with, that's not necessarily how it's been. So I really would love to hear how you've gotten there. Obviously, I love to showcase like the struggles and really those moments in time where you had these realizations that catapulted you, even though it seemed like, you know, I'm from the music industry. That's where my majority of my success was. And it's called the overnight success, which is not true. We know there's a lot that goes into that moment. So let's start there, Marques, first by welcoming you. And I'd love to hear from that side of you first.
Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, so I'm from Washington, D.C. I live in the Fuquay Arena, North Carolina area, which is like right outside of Raleigh. I've been speaking now for 10 and a half years. And like you said, right, Aaron, you know, it came about because of my arrogance, my ego, my bravado, my self-centered nature. I lost my construction company in 2013, had to move from Baltimore to Raleigh, North Carolina area, moved to Cary, North Carolina with who's now my ex-wife and my stepdaughter. And I really had to rebuild my life. I was working in a couple different jobs, was fired from both jobs, 2 jobs actually in the same week. I actually took a job as a custodian working in downtown Raleigh for $8.25 an hour. And I had my aha moment where somebody's trash and rotten meat and nasty protruding garbage got over my body, my skin and my clothes. And that was my wake-up call. And I started speaking in September 2013. But like you said, right, Aaron, it didn't happen overnight. It took 2.5 years to get my first paid job. Got my first paid job in April 2016 from Millen Rock College at their 100th commencement graduation speech. That went very, very well. And then I started to get more testimonials, started to get more referrals, started to get more reference letters. I learned how to give value to our clients through their needs and what is our message going to do to help strengthen their vision or enhance their brand. And we've had great success, you know, even through all the challenges I've had of building a business, losing a business, coming to Raleigh, starting over, being told no all those years, starting at the beginning and going from here to there, and then having success and then getting divorced, having to start over 2 years ago from that point. You know, I've really had a lot of struggles in my life, but no matter what I've gone through, right, Aaron, I'm still here. I'm still standing. That's resiliency. That's perseverance. And I have a mindset shift capability where I don't dwell on the negative, and I help our clients achieve positive results through all I've been through to get them where they want to go.
Let's dive into that a little bit, Marques. So, and to summarize, I know there was a lot you said there, and there's obviously a lot more in what you said there, but you talked about going from the NFL to being covered in trash as a custodian, right? And literally to a rock bottom space. Now, and you cited a couple other potential things that could be perceived as struggles or rock bottoms, like a divorce and whatnot. What in you kept you going? Like, and how do you translate that into your speaking and into your coaching? Like, let's take it on a personal level, or even if you're going in and doing a coaching in corporations where people are only seeing the problem, they're only seeing what's wrong. How did you shift to seeing the lessons and what's right in those areas to be able to grow and expand in what you were doing and then take it forward and pay it forward like you are today?
So my why is to help people succeed where I failed And one of our mantras of our brand is authenticity creates victory. And people really like that because we're very authentic in who we are. We're very real in who we are. We share with our clients our story. I don't ever hide that because people need to hear that to relate. Everybody has had a rock bottom moment, some worse than others. And what we find, right, Aaron, people love that human element. They love that vulnerability. They love that realness of when we speak and when we bring the value. But behind the value, right, Aaron, we're also bringing not just that through storytelling, we're bringing action steps to help people move to the next level. And people love it. And clients love it. And organizations love it because, yes, we are also teaching you, but at the same time, we're also educating you through storytelling. We are inspiring you and we are making moves to help you get more confident in your organizational structure, where you're going, and we're helping to create a better alignment around a unified vision. Whatever that company's vision is, whatever the brand's mission is, we want the people that we go and speak to, the audience, which is usually, either entrepreneurs for their own self, or if it's in a corporate setting, it's going to be leaders, mid-level managers, or frontline workers. We want those individuals to really have that full alignment with the company's vision. That way, nothing gets missed.
So I like what you said there, and I have a few questions around that because I think this is a good way to help people understand the difference between like a keynote speaker and a coach and a facilitator or a consultant, even an advisor. There's so many names in the industry, but you somewhat bridged all those in the way you were sharing how you approach a company and how you work with a company. So what I would love to hear here is like, one, are there specific verticals that you work in? Like meaning you specialize in marketing, you specialize in sales, you specialize in leadership. And in those areas, how do you find yourself crafting your narrative so it actually is relevant to the audience that you're working with, rather than just, it doesn't sound like you necessarily do a canned talk. It sounds like it's a lot more bespoke and a lot more tailored. And to use your word that you brought up, more authentic, not just you're authentic to you, but authentic to the audience that you're presenting to. How do you bridge that?
It's every talk we give, right, Aaron, is customized to whatever the individual needs, right, or the client needs. It's always customized, no doubt about it. And what we do, right, Aaron, is we can speak in different verticals. So we have a leadership talk, which is called self-absorption, causes self-destruction. We have a marketing and sales talk, which is called drop the poker face. Selling requires authenticity. We have a talk on culture enhancement, which is called recycling versus trash and company culture. We have one on professional development, which is called At 32, what I would have told my 32-year-old self. We have one on grit and perseverance, which is the ego mistake, from 8 figures to 825 per hour. We also have one on how to crush the limiting beliefs, which is called So Can You. And we have one more, which is on DE&I. We call it the success cycle creates healthy DEI. Every time we work for a client, we have a pre-con call. Every client, we want to know, okay, what's the problem that you need solved? What's the vision and the mission of the organization? And where's the gap? And from there, we tailor the talk to then fit and connect the people that we're speaking to the organizational's mission, values, and culture. No talk is the same. Now, is my life story the same? Yes. Will I tell you different parts of my life that fit your narrative, that fit your theme to relate to you better? Absolutely. And that's the difference, right? And that's where we really hit home with people. We give them a customized talk based off their issues, their struggles, the mishaps, whatever's missing, and we close the gap with our keynotes. And you mentioned a moment ago about different talks, right? So we do keynotes, which is a classic, 60, 90-minute talk, sometimes half an hour. Most times it's 60 minutes to a client where we're just doing a straight talk and we need a little time for Q&A at the end. Then we have a workshop style, which is like maybe a half-day workshop or a full-day workshop, which is more, hands-on, more engaging, more conversation. between, me and the people in the audience, between the audience and each other, people in the room, to really help to like dig out issues, problems, to solve things. Because here's the thing, right? I'm doing a half-day workshop or a full-day workshop. They don't want to hear from me all day long. It's not the Marques Ogden day. It's how do you solve problems day, right? And then we do consulting for organizations where we meet with them monthly, like through a Zoom, sometimes in person, and we address things. We'll have a theme for that monthly call, and we'll address things around if it's either culture enhancement, marketing improvement, leadership enhancement. So sometimes for companies, right, Aaron, we'll look at their leadership team for one group. Then we'll finish that. We'll go to the next group of like their frontline workers, level managers, and work with them for 6 months or 12 months. So we do keynotes, we do half-day workshops, we do full-day workshops, we do one-on-one coaching, we do group coaching. We also do consulting for organizations, depending upon what their issues and or struggles are.
I absolutely love that. That's literally a total package, from introducing yourself to an organization to be able to deep dive with them, and in the different areas of the organization, which I think is really important. And I found personally too, when I'll go into one level of an organization, typically I'll know the next level I'll need to go into. And usually we find that together. It's kind of like an aha moment that I see coming. So I really love that you actually have that mapped out and you're doing that. Now, one of the things you brought up, and I do like to ask former athletes this question, and let me preface it a little bit with a little bit like my history is in the music industry, in the entertainment industry, right? So I've achieved an extremely high level in those industries. You achieved an extremely high level in professional sports. We know that that's not the norm, right, in the world, right? But one of the ways that it was phrased to me once is professional sports the last meritocracy out there? Is it possible? And let me bring it back to music. I've seen nepotism and favoritism and stuff in TV and movies and in music where they will capitalize on the parent. Even if the child doesn't have the skill set, they'll utilize the parent to market it. So it's somewhat there. I'm not saying that it's not, there's not also a little more fairness there. But when it comes to being on the field, from what I can see, and I don't have the background in sports, but when it comes to being on the field, it seems to me that if you can't cut it, you're going to get cut. You're not going to make it. And I'm curious on your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Aaron, absolutely. Now, of course, when you are a rookie, right, you're going to get, if you are a first round draft pick, you'll get more chances than a mid-round pick from that class, a late round pick, or a free agent, right? So basically, at that point, you're going to have to really show up as a free agent or a late round pick or a mid round pick. If you're a first round draft pick, they got a lot more money tied up in you, they'll give you more leeway. When you're a veteran that has a huge contract and you're still young relatively, they'll give you more leeway as well. So it comes down to money, right? In my opinion, it comes down to money. When you're getting paid the big dollars, if you're a veteran and you're not having a great season, they'll be like, hey, man, what's going on? Hey, what was wrong? Was things going on at home? Were you not getting things done in the office or in the field? Like, what was it? They'll try to figure out what it is to work with you. Now, if you're a veteran, right, and they don't have a lot of guaranteed money in you, and you have a salary that could be cut and you're not cutting it, they will cut you, right? The NFL is a business, period. It is a business. Now, is there favoritism? Of course there is. But at the end of the day, is it like people think it is? No, it comes down, in my opinion, to money, right? If you're a draft pick and you're not cutting it, but you're a high round pick, they've got more money in you, more guaranteed money. They're going to want to see their investment through. But if you're a late round or mid round or undrafted free agent, you're not cutting it, they're not going to give you any time to get it together. Say, well, you know what? Nice try, son. You didn't work it done. Have a nice day. So it really comes down to money and where you're drafted. And as a veteran, it comes down to what's your guaranteed money. If they cut you, what do they have to pay you, right? And then what does that look like? So it's all about contracts. It's all about guaranteed money. It's all about, what they have invested in you. All those things play into, that whole process of NFL being cut, being kept, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, you just brought a totally new perspective to this from other NFL athletes I've asked, and I love your perspective on this, and it shows your business mind, which totally is congruent with everything else we've talked about. What I've actually seen and read about you. So I want to dive a little bit more on that, because one of the topics too that I've seen come up when I've had other interviews and whatnot, even whether it was me being interviewed or interviewing someone else, is that financial aspect, the money aspect. And from my perspective, the money aspect is an absolute necessity to look at in any facet of business, right? Yet for some reason in pro sports, in professional musicians and professional actors and stuff, the public at large seems to frown on that aspect of it. They think, well, it's all about the money. Well, and from my perspective, in living on both sides of the table and believing there can be heroes on both sides of the table, it's all about the money, at least to someone on that team, because that's their lane. It has to be about the money to a degree. But the way you just framed it is in a different way. You did make it about the money, but you also made it about the players and the health of the players and what's going on in their life and what do they need help with. So I'm not sure if I even have a question there, but do you have any thoughts on what I just shared there as far as people thinking that's all about the money? But honestly, that is an absolute facet of building a business. And you're right. The professional sports is a business. It's also the entertainment industry as far as I'm concerned.
It's definitely entertainment. Like the Super Bowl was the most watched one, ever. So everybody's making money. The owners, the city of Las Vegas, the Vegas owner, it was $2.5 million for a box at the Super Bowl. $2.5 million. Of course it's entertainment. But again, like you said, in business, it's somebody on your team's job to worry about the money. Because here's the thing, in pro sports, especially football, your next play could be your last play in an instant. Yes, we have technology. Yes, we have things happening with like getting surgeries and repairing the body. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, football is one of the most violent games on earth. So absolutely, somebody on that individual's team is going to be worried about the money. And that is just business, right? So the athlete may not be worried, but the athlete might want to go in and play and say, oh, I can do this, I can prove my worth later and all this stuff. But if you have a good agent or a good business team, they're going to say, no, you need to be in line with what happened last year. The person in front of you got paid. Well, that way you can set the bar for the person behind you. So it's all going to be coded by a system, especially when you're drafted. Then you get into free agency, the next level, you're going to go off the open market, right? So again, don't feel bad, for Brock Purdy. He's got 3 more years on his contract, but if he has another great year, right? I see the 49ers starting to have contract discussions with Brock Purdy at the end of next season, heading into year 4 to get him locked in. And whatever the open market is, Lamar Jackson, right? He's going to get more money than Lamar Jackson. Why? He's gone further into the playoffs than Lamar Jackson. Is he as good as Lamar Jackson? No. But has he won when it counts? Yes. And in the NFL, you're paying somebody not particularly always off their talent per se, especially certain positions. If you're a quarterback, can you get it done? Can you win the big games? That's what it's about. So Brock Purdy, as long as he doesn't get hurt, which I don't wish that on anybody, he's a good kid, he's a really good quarterback, he'll get a nice payday at the end of this season, heading into year 4. That's my opinion, right? He'll get more than Lamar Jackson. He'll get more than Joe Burrow. He'll get more than Herbert from the Chargers. He'll set the new market. And that's the way that it goes.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned that you do consulting on workshops on leadership in corporations. How does what you just shared, as far as what you've learned on how the NFL decides on the value of an athlete and how they're going to basically increase the pay of the athlete or whatnot. How has that been able to translate into you teaching that in corporations as far as how their hiring goes and how their equality in the pay structures go across the corporation? If that's something you do.
It's all going to be about performance, and you want to treat people and pay them off the industry average, and then as they do more and do better, you want to raise pay, and that goes into our talk around culture, around recycling versus trashing company culture. If you want people to stay with you and be loyal to you and be dedicated to the mission and the mantra and the vision, you have to pay them accordingly. You pay them so they feel the value and they feel appreciated in their job. When people feel appreciated and they feel valued and they feel like they're getting paid correctly, as long as you don't make them mad, as long as you just give them the room to do their job, give them a great work environment, they'll never leave. I've had people with me as consultants for 5 years, 7 years, 6 years, 8 years, 4 years, you name it, because I'm increasing their pay over time. I give them bonuses over time, and I'm always going to work with my team to make sure that they feel aligned in what they're getting paid. And that's the end of the day. And as I get paid more, I'll increase my team's pay more, because at the end of the day, that's what it counts. I have other businesses. I own parts of different business. Like I own part of a toothpaste brand, part of a hemp seed brand. We're very blessed to make money through sponsorship for our podcast, coaching. But when people pay me to speak, my team gets bonuses off that. And I really set them up correctly and nicely so they feel valued, they feel appreciated. And what happens is, right, Aaron, they want to stay. So that's all about helping people to create a culture where people feel valued and they want to work within the organization for a long period of time.
I think what you just shared is a standard of what I would say we need to be what diversity, equity, and inclusion looks like. Like you literally just laid out what it should look like to truly serve your team, right? And to seek to serve and to really live that it's in the giving you receive and you give and you receive, right? I know we're close to end of time here. I'm curious if I may, or Marques, what's the personal Marques like? We have family, children.
The personal Marques is a dad. I have a 20-year-old stepdaughter who is in Madrid right now studying abroad with NYU at their NYU campus. I have a 9-year-old daughter. She's in the 4th grade. I'm recently divorced. I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment that was like really just crappy and dilapidated and run down. I moved in November 1st of 2022. And I worked hard and I dedicated myself and I bought my dream home in May of 15th of 2023. I live in a nice brand new home now. I'm the first to live here, new construction. My daughter loves it. My 9-year-old, she just has a great atmosphere, lots of friends. She has her sleepovers and does her thing. And I'm a girl dad. I'm a fun dad. I like to play poker. I'm a huge movie guy. Love the movies. I'm a workout guy. I go to the gym 6 days a week. I go 7, lift 6. So I'm into, art. I'm into museums. I'm into, going to like car shows or, operas or, musicals. I do like to travel. I travel a little bit for work. I also travel myself personally. But yeah, I'm just a fun-loving guy, man. Just a guy that likes to, connect with people, help people. And I'm all about serving people that, just really need to be, served. I'm all about helping the little people who can't speak for themselves. I like to speak for them as well.
I love it. My final question I like to ask, I think you've answered it multiple times over us speaking right now, but what would you, and you talk about authenticity. So what is authentic about you that sets you apart from other speakers, other consultants, other coaches?
I will always tell you my failures. I'll own my mistakes. I fix them and I move on. I don't claim to be perfect. I don't claim to have it all together. I'm always going to share who I am, what I'm about to help you that are listening get ahead. I share my failures, my struggles, so you succeed or fulfill. And I have a great saying around that. Authenticity creates victory. And that's what we're about.
Authenticity creates victory. We'll end with that. It's been a blessing and a joy to speak with you, Marques. If you guys want to find out a little more about Marques, you can go to ovationz.com and search him. Marques, I really appreciate the time and thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me on, my friend.